What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the barber. I'm coming back with the video on a self cut. It's a little tutorial. Alright. So, I recorded this video like 3 weeks ago. I never got around to actually finishing it. So, here we go. Alright, so it's going to be a high ball fade with the 6 on the top. Now, the steps that I take with the 6 on the top, you could use for almost anything. Now, right here, you see me just combing out all of my hair. Don't matter what kind of hair texture you have, you need to comb it out. It smooths it out. That's how you get a good blend. Now, the tools I use, I mainly use all Wahl. The clipper I showed you in the beginning, that was the Wahl 5-star senior. This right here is the Wahl balder, the balding clip. Now, one of the only tools I use from Andis is the Andis T-Outliner. Those are the truth right there. But I just transitioned over to the Wahl detailers because fresh out the box, they hit so nice and so smooth. You ain't even got a zero gap. Alright, so first thing is first, I take the 6 and I take the 6 all the way over the top of my head. Alright, so then to get that first bald line, what I do is I take the T-outliners and I just go from the edge of my hairline all the way through. Make sure that line is as straight as possible. Alright, because when you have clean guidelines, you have clean fades. That's the secret. So then when we got the little ball line in there, I take my Wahl balders and I go all the way up, try to get up as close as I can. Now the key to it, look, so you gotta brush your hair out. When you brush it out, when you have those little small hairs, if you don't brush it out and you just go straight into fading, that's how people are gonna get ingrown hairs and they're gonna get bumps. Alright, you don't want them to get ingrown hairs or bumps. So look, I take my T-outliners, my Andis T-outliners, and I just clean up all that stubble because the T-outliners get a lot closer than the Wahl balders. And I made that first line with the T-outliner, and I don't want no line to be up in there. So I set the guideline in with the T-outliners. I can take it out with the T-outliners. That's the trick. Whatever you set a guideline with, you can take it out with. There you go, see me brushing again. Alright, so then I take my shavers. Now this is one of the hardest part for people, is they always end up leaving a line with the shaver. The trick is to go down with the shaver first. Smooth it out a little bit, because you're going to be fading with the shaver. You're not just cleaning up the hair. You gotta fade with the shaver. That's the secret too. You gotta fade with it. So when I start fading it, you're gonna notice I make a guideline for myself. I pretty much leave about a half an inch to about an inch from that top guideline right there. So when you go down, you just knock off a little bit of hair. You're going with the grain. Now when you go against the grain, that's where you get it down low. So if you go all the way up to that line, it's gonna be hard to get out that little ball line. You see where I'm drawing right there? That's where I stop by going against the grain, like actually pushing down. And after after I clean up all the stubble, you're gonna see that line I leave right there, because you gotta leave a guideline. When you leave a guideline, you'll know what to take out. You know what I'm saying? So you see how I'm not going up to that initial bald line that I made with the T-outliners? That's the key to a perfect blend. A lot of these barbers, they don't really know how to use the shaver. They just take the shaver all the way up to that guideline, and that's what causes a bald line. Like, you can actually see the line in the haircut, you know what I'm saying? So then when you get that line in there, just start flicking it out. Just go up and down, up and down. Don't press too hard, because if you press too hard, you're gonna shave it all the way off. Now you see that faint line I made in the back of my head right there? All I'm gonna do to get that out is flip it upside down, barely tap it, go up and down. Just pretty much remove that line. That's all you gotta do. Go up and down. Don't press too hard, but don't press too light either, because you're not gonna take any hair off. So you gotta find that even balance, and it's best to start on your own head before you go out and practice on anybody else, because if you can learn to cut your own hair, it's gonna be easier to cut somebody else's hair. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna spend a lot of time fixing your own hair, and you're gonna be trying to get your hair cut right. You know, so it's best, if you want to learn how to cut hair, start on yourself first. But look, now do you see how I'm fading out that back line? Look, you can see it faintly right there. I'm just going down with it. Now, when you go down at first, you're not going to press that hard. Just press lightly to get it to where you don't hear no more stubble being cut. All right. Then when you go into fade it, when you start going down with it, like how I'm doing, how I was doing just previous, like right there, I'm doing it right there. What you gotta do is you gotta press a little harder. When you press a little harder, that's gonna fade it down. You know what I'm saying? So when you cut hair, it's just like paintbrushing. Like there's certain shades that you have to have. Like if you're gonna paint a black and white painting, it's gonna be white, black, and grays and light grays and all that. You know what I'm saying? So when you cut hair like this, all you're doing is finding that perfect paintbrush. All your tools are paintbrushes. So what I just did right there is I took my Wahl 5-star seniors and I opened it up and I made my second guideline. All right. Now this guideline is about a half an inch, close to an inch. So to fade out that line right there, I always fade from bottom to top. I close my clipper all the way and I just hit that bottom line. I open it up halfway, hit that line, and I open it up all the way. And I start fading it. And I go on to the next little section. Close my clipper, open it up halfway, open it up all the way. Now the reason why I blend like this and I fade from bottom to top is because when you try to piece your fade and you do half the head first and then the back of the head, then the other side of the head, like 3 parts or 4 parts or whatever, you're not really getting a perfect blend. Like if you have the guideline going all the way through and you fade all the way through each guideline, your blend's gonna be even more so than if you were just to fade one side of the head first, the back side of the head, and then the other side of the head. Like it's gonna be more even. And when you have an even fade, like it's a cleaner haircut in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people want clean haircuts. Pay attention to details. So here's a zoomed in on me closing my clipper. Then I open it up a little bit, halfway, open it up a little bit more, and I open it up all the way to fade out that line. Then I go back down, then I close it again and open up a little bit, and I open it up some more. So when you close it all the way, and let's say that the hair doesn't cut and you still have a line right there, that's where you're going to take your T-outliners. You know what I'm saying? Because if you start bottom to top, whatever you made a line with, you could take it out with. So if you know that the Wahl 5-star senior closed is not taking out the line, what's the next one under that we did? That was either the balder or the T-outliner. Now I use the T-outliner more than the balder because it's easier to maneuver, and you got a smaller blade, it's thinner, and you can use the points. So look, you're gonna see right in the back, in the very, very back, there's gonna be a little line right there in the very back of my head, close to the occipital bone, right above it. Right there, you see what I'm saying? I put my clipper upside down and I just barely tap that line out. And now the blend looks smooth, it looks flawless. That's the bottom part. To me, the most important part of any kind of fade is the bottom part, from going from bald all the way to open. That's the cleanest part of a fade. If you can't get that down, your fade's gonna look like it has lines in it. You know what I'm saying? So then the second part, for the third guideline, or the third part, I'm gonna take my one guard and I'm gonna close it. All right, now I'm gonna make another guideline. Just follow the guidelines that you already made. I'm gonna take this up about a half an inch to an inch, depending on the head size, but usually it's about a half an inch always. So then when you go up a step, what's the next guard down? You know, I fade bottom to top. So if I make the guideline with the one, to fade out that one, I'm gonna use the half guard. Now my blending technique is the exact same with any guard I use. So I have the one in there, the one closed, and the one closed equals a half open. So to take out the bottom part of that one right there, I'm gonna close my Wahl 5-star senior with the half guard on it, and I'm gonna flick out at that bottom part. And then once I get that flicked out a little bit and it's not cutting no more, I'm gonna opening it up halfway, blend it out a little bit more, and open it up all the way. Now if you're blending the haircut and you have the Wahl 5-star senior with the half guard on it closed, and it's not going down as low, all you gotta do is just go back down to the last part, like the last step that you did. And the last step that we did was the Wahl 5-star senior open. You know what I'm saying? So the wall half guard closed equals to the wall 5-star senior open with no guard. All right. So if you're cutting hair and you're cutting it and it's not cutting no more, don't worry about it. Go on to the next section. All you gotta do is go down a step and then blend out that little area, that dark spot or that line that you're tripping about. Now you're gonna see me take off my guard. You see I have no guard on there, and I just start flicking out at some of those dark spots that I made that I seen with the wall half guard. Because the wall half guard, like any guard is not gonna take out all the hair. You have to go back in detail and go down steps and take out steps. Like you just have to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you fade. That's a good fade right there. So now I took my wall 1.5 guard. Now I'm gonna make another guideline. It's gonna be about a half an inch to an inch depending on the head size, and I just go above the previous guideline that I made, making it even all the way through. Then the guard that I can fade out that half guard or that 1.5 guard with is the 1 guard. So I take the 1 guard, same as our blended technique, I close it, now open it up halfway, open it up all the way. Now I go on to the next little part of the fade. Now if you close the 1 guard and it's not cutting all the hair down and it's not fading it, don't worry about it, because the more you focus on one section, you're gonna be pushing the fade up higher and higher and higher and higher. So if it's not cutting and it's just not cutting no more, it's all right. Once you finish with this whole entire section, then go down to your half guard and then finish out the blend. You know what I'm saying? Don't spend too much time on one section because it's gonna stress you out and you're gonna be spending a lot of time on haircuts. And all you gotta do is just go back down and use the lower length guards to take out the dark spots. A good fade, all you're doing is taking out dark spots. Pretty much all you're doing. When you have a line in your head or the haircut doesn't look finished, then you have a lot of dark spots. So look, you see that big old line right there? I'm taking my wall half guard and I'm opening it. And if that's not cutting it, I'm gonna keep closing it down and down until it cuts or until it fades it out a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? That line's eventually gonna disappear because I have it open halfway right now. I close it up a little bit. I'm just sitting there blending out that dark spot. But the key to a fade, once you make a guideline, don't go above the guideline. All right, so you see that big old bowl cut I got on my head? I will never ever touch that. I will never ever go past that. I just stay in my lane. When you make a guideline, it's kind of like driving a car. You got to stay in your lane. If you have a half inch, you got to stay in that half inch. Don't go above it. That's how you get an uneven fade. You know what I'm saying? So here, all you're seeing is me just taking that half guard and I'm blending out that one spot. All the dark spots I can possibly see, I'm going to try to touch up and fade out just to give myself that smooth transition into the top. So now I take my 2 guard, and this is where I make another guideline right at that bulk right there, right at that bulk. I don't go too high up. I don't go past the occipital ridge or the parietal ridge, but I do make the guideline about a half inch. Sometimes I'll do an inch depending on the head shape of somebody's head. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of play your cards right whenever you're fading. Like, not everybody's head's gonna be the exact same. You gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. You know what I'm saying? So then to take out that 2, I'm gonna take the 1.5 guard, the wall 1.5 guard. All right, I'm gonna close it up. I'm gonna try to blend it out as much as I can. I'm gonna open it up a little bit, open it up some more. All right, so if I close it and it's not cutting, then what do I gotta do? I gotta go back down to the 1 guard, the 1 guard open. All right, the 1 guard open. That's what's gonna fade it out. So then, what I do here, I take the 1 guard, and I close it, and I start fading it out a little bit. And I start opening it just to make sure that I'm getting out all those dark spots. All right. How I fade is I go from bald to trimmer to balder to the wall closed to open. Then I go to the half guard, the 1 guard, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up. The wall closed takes out Or like, yeah. So look, when you have the trimmer line, to take out that trimmer line, you're gonna use the trimmer. All right. When you have, let's say, a one guard on there, the half guard takes out the one. The one takes out the 1.5. The 1.5 takes out the 2. All right. So right here, I'm taking the 4 guard and I'm going against the parietal ridge now. This is where I'm going to smooth out that blend from the top to the bottom. Now remember, I have a 6 on the top. So I'm opening up this 4 because I don't want to use too many guards. Like, it's not really necessary because I do have a tight blend going. A tight blend medium that the blend isn't super wide. Like right at the top, it's going to be a tighter blend. So I don't really need to use too many steps. All right. I'm just taking this 4 guard open and I'm kind of debulking the side right there. I'm debulking it. I'm making sure that the hair isn't too thick, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And then right here, this is where I take my 3 guard and I just open it up and I kind of blend out the dark spot as much as I can. Then once I get done with the 3 guard, I'm going to switch over to the 2 guard. All right. Because when we use a higher guard, to make the blend a little bit smoother, we have to go down guards. Just go down. Don't go down too low because you're going to leave a little hole in somebody's head. And you don't want that. All right. So look, now you see right there. After I use the 3 guard, I have to put on the 2 guard just to make sure I can clean up the rest of that area. Now, if I close the 2 guard and I'm noticing it's not cutting, well, what takes out the 2 guard? It's a 1.5. So I'll go down to the 1.5 like I do right here. I'll go down to the 1.5 and I'll just clean it up. I'll open up the clipper and I'll clean it up as much as I can. And if the open isn't cutting, if it's not blending out the dark spot, I'm going to close it some more. Then if the 1.5 isn't working, or if it's not cutting down and blending all the dark spots away, I'm going to use the 1 guard. I'm going to keep on going down and down until I can blend out that dark spot. That's how you get a smooth transition on your fade. All right. So right here, I'm brushing out my edge up. The way I start my edge ups is I start right in the middle. When you start right in the middle and go from side to side, it's a lot easier to navigate. When you start from one side and go all the way to the other side, if you're not that experienced, it's going to be harder because you might angle it up too high or you might angle it up too low, and now you damn near push somebody back. So if you start right in the middle, it gives you a guide point, like a stationary guide to where you can reference back to, and you're not going to push them back like that. All right. So one thing I noticed about myself is the right side of my hairline is not as thick as the left side. So you're going to see right there. Well, yeah, it's on the video, it's the right side. On the right side, it's not that thick. So I'm not going to dig into that, because if I dig into that, I'm going to have a really big forehead, and I ain't trying to have a big forehead right now. I'm too young for that. All right. So what you do is you just brush the hair down and you just hit the ends, barely hit the ends. Whatever side is a little bit higher, that's kind of what you want to edge up the bottom. Don't dig into it and try to make the line crispy. Not everybody wants a crispy edge up. That's what you have enhancements for. And if the client requests you to push their edge up back, that's the only time where it will be necessary for you to do that. But to edge yourself up, it's a little bit harder because the clipper is blocking your view. So you kind of gotta be super gentle with it. Like, don't dig right into your hairline at first. Just kind of, you see how I'm brushing the hair down? Just kind of brush the hair down and then barely tap the ends, and then brush the hair down, barely tap the ends, brush the hair down, barely tap the ends. And then when you start in the middle, you're gonna see a straighter line. When you start from left to right or right to left, if you're not that experienced with your clippers, it's gonna be a lot harder to keep the line straight, because you might angle it up too high at first, or you might angle it down too low, and now you're gonna be playing catch up, and now you're gonna be spending 15-20 minutes on somebody's edge up, and they're gonna be like thinking in their head, man, what are you doing? So I already did my little beard. I faded out a little bit. I kind of edged it up, but I don't like a mustache. I'm kind of rocking the no mustache look right now. So I take my trimmer or my shaver and I just clean up my mustache, and right now I'm just cleaning up the sides. I'm stretching my skin, getting right behind the ears, and I'm just making sure that I got all the stubble off, because the bottom part, the bald part, is one of the most important spots of the blend. If you don't get that down, you are gonna see a line no matter what. You're always gonna see a line, because that's like skin right there. That's all the way down to skin. You know what I'm saying? And the key to getting a clean bald is just run your finger on the back of somebody's head. Just feel for the stubble. If you feel stubble, keep on balding it out until you don't feel no stubble. It's a cleaner fade right there. All right. So this is the ending result. A 6 on the top with the bald fade, the self cut. It took me about, with recording the video, it took me about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes with the beard and everything involved. But this is the ending result right here. I fade from bottom to top. This is what I do. I've been fading like this for the past 4 years now. Alright, younger fam, I appreciate all y'all for tuning into the video and supporting your boy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when I post another one. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.